Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this DIY refurbishing outdoor patio set. And I'm going to be showing you guys two sets, kind of how I do it. The one of them I'm not going to go as in depth because that one's super easy to do. It's the one that's right here. And I'm not going to be going in depth with this one just because it is super flat. I don't really have to get into the crevices of the table too much as the ones that has the design on it, because I have this table that it looks like it's a wrought iron table, but it's still underneath, so I don't it's like a different type of metal. It's super lightweight. And I had ended up getting that off of OfferUp. I got both of the sets from this guy. I had found one of them. It was only $20 for it, and then it had always needed to be painted, but we didn't paint it until we got into our new house. I want to do a series on my YouTube channel kind of showing you guys how I'm going to be doing my backyard and stuff, and being able to do it like kind of more on the affordable side, just because I know sometimes when you first get a new home, everything's really expensive. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Alright, first things first, we are going to go ahead and sand the table with 80 grit sandpaper. 80 grit sandpaper, it's pretty coarse, just to take off all of the lifted paints. Some areas where the paint isn't lifting, I don't need to completely remove it, I just need to rough it up, so that's why I'm going over everything. But when you are doing this, you really want to make sure that you get off any of the lifted paint. Even if it looks like it's not coming off lightly, go over the whole table with the sander, and if it chips off right away, if it looks like it was completely painted, it's something that does need to come off. So just make sure to sand all around that and get all of that stuff off, especially on the corners and edges, because once you go over it with paint, if you don't do it, you are going to be able to see it. And all that hard work that you did, you're going to have to go back and sand again and do another coat. And with something this large, I feel like you have to do one solid coat all over it again, because otherwise it'll look spotty. And that's my baby Georgia in the back. Okay, and so for this part, what we're going to be doing is just going and taking this wire brush and try to take off as many of the lifted parts as we can. And then the other stuff that I'm not able to get off, I'm going to do my best to get it off with a sander. And then this was another part where if you see like I'm lightly going, or I am going over all of it, and if it's coming off, you could see it comes off fairly easy. It doesn't really take that much work of going back and forth. So if it's going to come off, it's going to come off regardless. But you just want to make sure you look at it from every different direction and sand it, just because I do even notice after I had finished the table, there was like two spots out of the whole table where I felt like there was a patch of lifted paint underneath. So that is something I might have to go over in the future. I do recommend not doing this all in one day if you are not mentally prepared for it, just because I feel like it's easy to start getting lazy. And right here I'm going to get the wire brush and I'm going to go in between and get all of those little pieces of paint off of the inside of it. Alright, and then next I'm going to wipe it down with rubbing alcohol and just spray it and use a microfiber towel to wipe down the whole thing and make sure that there's no dust on it. And the paint that I'm using is a universal rust-oleum paint. And you're just going to want to make sure you shake this one up really well. There's a cheaper version of this one. You don't need to use this one exactly. This one, the only difference between this one and the other one is a spray nozzle, and I think it's $1 or $2 difference. I had gotten my paint all from, I think it was Lowe's. So first for the table, I had started in the middle and I had went over all the sides. I wanted to start from the top to the bottom, just because since the paint, it falls, I want, like, if there's anything that does fall from the top of the table, I want it to go on the bottom of it, so I'm not having to waste as much paint. I mean, it does make a little bit of a difference, but not a humongous difference. And again, for the legs and everything, you're going to really want to make sure that you go all around the table and really get in there. Look at it from different directions so you could kind of see and make sure that you're not missing any spots on the table. Alright, and then for the chairs, with this paint, I did notice I kind of like to go a little bit closer to it. But see, and then in this clip, I am talking about how I want to start from the back because that paint that's coming through the holes, it'll end up going onto the seat. And I like to do that just because it saves me a little bit of paint, and that stuff is, you could see it's kind of spraying through the holes and on the seat regardless. So I kind of like to start off doing that first. But with this paint, I did notice that I like it to be closer up to this where I'm painting, just because I do notice when it's further away, it doesn't give as nice as an effect, and it kind of just looks like a regular black spray paint. So, and then for this set of furniture, it did take, I believe, like 8 cans of furniture, or 8 cans of spray paint, sorry. And when you're painting, you really want to make sure that you're overlapping each time you go pass by, or each time you pass. And then another thing that you want to do is the reason why I had mentioned that I like to kind of be a little bit close when I am spraying is just because this paint, it's supposed to kind of give like a speckly texture to it. And I feel like when you're doing it from far away, you kind of don't really get that texture. So that's the way I like to do it, and I notice that it applies a lot better when you are a little bit closer. So the can does recommend 6 to 8 inches away, and I feel like the 6 inches is pretty good, and that's as close as I'll go, because there's times where I have gotten a little bit too close and it made the paint run a little bit too much. You just want to make sure you get on the inside of the arms and kind of think about how you want to paint it, and you're making sure that you get all the pieces. If somebody's sitting in the chair, that they would kind of see, just because I did notice behind the arms I didn't get as good as coverage as I wish I would have. But I mean, it's always nice to have an extra can of paint or have a little bit left over, so if you guys have to touch up, then you're able to, and you have the exact paint that you need. Or you could always just go to the store and grab some more. With this paint, I do notice that it dries fairly fast. The day that I was spray painting, it was probably like 75 degrees outside. So I let the furniture dry overnight, and then I didn't take it outside until a couple weeks later, just so I was able to go back and check if there was anything else that I might have to go and do. You really want to make sure that you plan out a lot of time for this. It probably took me about a week to do it. I wanted to take my time and make sure sanding it was the most important part. Alright, you guys, this is the before of the table. You could see how dull and lifeless the table is, and all of the paint, how it's peeling off. It was very beat up. I'm so glad that I did this. It was probably one of the best things that I had decided to do. I love this table, and I got it for a really good price. So even painting it, how much it had costed in paint, it made it totally worth it. So I think after I had spent only around maybe $30 in paint or $20 in paint, but yes. And then this is the final look. I hope you guys love this video because it was one of my favorite videos to do. And you guys can see how smooth and shiny the surface of it looks. I wish you guys could see it, how pretty it looks in person, just because it does have that speckly look to it. And it just looks absolutely gorgeous. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. And as usual, I'll be back with more videos. Bye!